Okay. Whatever. I turned it off and I was like, women go to their sexual appetites way too quickly. Way too quickly. Um, if you want to see, and this is, be careful how I say this, because I'm using young girls as an example, and they're not for sex objects of any kind. But if you want to see more what a woman of appropriate age, at least over the age of 7 or 8, kidding. But yeah, I'm 50, so a woman over the age of 40. If you want to see what a female should be like, look to what a modest, healthy, and we want all children to be happy, what a healthy 10 to 13-year-old girl is like. Right? No sex, no thoughts, and hopefully actually no thought of romance with a boy or with a guy. Like all those things are unhealthy. Girls don't need romantic stories, right? What human minds need is something that has the intimacy of the spirit. Not with God, right? Because you notice how religions encourage you have an intimate relationship with God, and that the home of your spirit is your intimacy, this financial murderer, right? The spirit has a natural intimacy. You don't have to read romantic poetry; it's all controlled. The grass and me sit beside each other. It gets stepped on from time to time, but we come back even greener than we were before. Everything out here, the water, the sound of the ducks, the logs, the trees, the sky, the clouds, the mountains, all these things, and my birth from a mother, are all intimate in the spirit and flesh, and all the core, true, organic, and celestial components of everything joyful and wonderful that humans have ever strived for and felt and known and gained, and everything that we've ever been worth protecting, if there's anything worth protecting, is this level of spirit and the relationships thereof. Okay? Nothing else is true or good in any way. It has nothing to do with God, nothing to do with devils, nothing to do with people being demonic, nothing to do with work or money whatsoever. Never did and never will. Okay? You get away from your work to do this. Or you get off work and you get into your car and you roll down the window and you just take a deep breath. That is the intimacy of your spirit. Your spirit's going, oh, we can finally breathe. Thank you. Your spirit doesn't hate you for going to work. Like I could say, oh, you're a work demon, you're a psychopath, you're a sexual predator for the system, you believe everything, you go to work, you're earning your death, and all these things that I can say. And you get in your car and you feel that. You're like, oh, fuck, that guy Lyman's right. You feel it and then you take a breath, right? Oh, that's your spirit. You don't need to meditate. You don't need to go spend all day in nature pretending you're doing something real like I do. You can just, well, I mean, I'm doing something real, but you just take a breath. You go walk your dog. Right? You need to do more of that, right? You don't want the only reason to be intimate because you're recovering from something that steals your spirit. The working system steals your spirit. It steals your labor. It steals your blood. It steals your birth. It steals your mother. It steals your father, and makes you into something that it wants you to be. Something that lives off of your own parents and all your clients and students and lovers and friends. Like, hey, Landon, we found out you're living off all of our debts. It's like, what? And that's why people are scapegoated. See, if you attack me, if you prey on people, that's why because down deep, you suspect in yourself that you or they are living parasitical possible nature that would demand that you just killed that person instantly if you knew that somebody was living off the death of all beings and you were a primary instrument of those who lived off the death of your own mother and father and turned your languages against you and tuned you against yourself. You live and speak as though someone who wants nothing more than to live off the death of your own mother before you even come out of a vaginal asshole, which is what a soul is. It comes out of the vagina. Death of the spirit that's supposed to be born in your flesh. You get a spirit anoxia. It creates a sheath of different levels of shock called a shaitan or a soul. It's an instrument of the financial system doing this to you. And it becomes something about women. It becomes something about white people and psychopaths and schizophrenics and violence and all kinds of theories that people suffer that'll never take you back to the truth. just living in a metaphysical torture chamber, right? And so meeting someone like me is a pretty rare fucking deal. I've never met someone like me. So think about how scared that is for me. Right? There are no really truthful people left. And they're probably native, if they are. Very few people left on the earth who can sense the truth, speak with the truth, and don't sound like, crazy people. Because, I meet people who know these things or work with these things, but they really are quite more intensely believe like chemtrails are demons, and they're all kind of Jewish, transvestites, and they've infected people with their demon juice, and they're going to kill everyone and take all the food and people and live off our children forever. Get out of the prison of the earth, get back into heaven, tell God he's an asshole, and say, hey, we're the prodigal children and the chosen ones, and you promised us shit. And they're feeding off of different dimensions in the military, And it's like, I think it's very interesting myself. Because to me, anything that someone says when they're sincere about understanding the evil of this world, I'm like, I don't really have anything against Jews or anything, but it's like they get caught up in some of these theories, right? And Judaism, like every religion, does have its dark side. I mean, it is a religion of death, like all the religions, right? And, it doesn't mean, and if a Jew is enjoying it, that doesn't mean they're a bad person. Like Christians enjoy Christianity, even though no one can be a Christian. But I don't enjoy hearing Jewish people speak, men or women, when they're being Jewish. I enjoy their other thoughts. Yeah. Hey guys. Hi. Not a bad day. Yeah. No, not at all. Not at all. These guys look pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
So he's super friendly. That's the problem. He
Yeah, I
can
know.
over to you and bug you.
That's fine. Yeah, cool. Yeah,
Come on.
right on. Sorry to interrupt your good time. Both guys? Oh, cool.
No, a girl and boy.
Oh, hey.
This one here is the boy. He's sniffing you.
Yeah, cool.
He's uber friendly. He's just like
I see that.
he's a good soul.
You see that, huh?
Yeah. He's gonna give you a kiss.
There you go. Good one. Thanks.
Okay, we'll see you later.
See ya. See ya. Yeah. See, that's a healthy human male. Yeah, of course he works for the system, all that, right? And you can only trust workers so much, but like that a person managed to be that decent and work for the system, it's crazy. And it's usually the men that are most decent. He doesn't have any cravings for me. Like women don't have sexual interest in me. They have cravings for my flesh. They don't see it that way. Women get a look in their eyes, and I think men think, oh, they like me, they'll have sex with me. And you've been programmed to think like that's good. And well, that's what should happen in life because, people find me sexy because I have a penis and they have a vagina. And, that's love and sex and dating and attraction. And it's chemical and exciting. And that's what life's about. And it's like, nope, wrong. Right? The woman is just getting cravings to kill you. She's a predator. She wants to eat you. People who become physically excited in your presence are not healthy human beings, right? Right, they're not. And women can get basically a version of basically a physiological erection every time they see you, right? When I go to that gas station, that woman that served me, that redhead, she's getting an ocular erection in her eyes. She's excited and aroused, right? She can't recognize it. She's not self-aware, but she's excited and aroused. Her body is that way. The same sort of fat, corpulent body she's living in has these uncontrollable compulsions. Right? And to a lot of women, feeling uncontrollably interested in a man is kind of like the precursor of love. It's like, I just can't help it. He just does it. Look at his hands. Look at his eyes. Look at the way he carries himself. Man, ooh, he's so hot. And for some reason, women will say, oh, men objectify women. We'll always hear women saying, oh, he's hot, or he's so cute. Or even at a young age, calling me hot, cute. We were family members of 2 generations higher than me. Women are always shopping for new flesh. Right? These instincts, this vernacular, these slogans, this acculturated way of behaving towards men is entirely sexually predatory. Nothing good can come from a woman who gets a physical or hormonal erection every time she sees you. And starting at a young age, right, I was getting stalked and sexually harassed by girls. Right? And they consider it normal. They put on their traveling pants. It's also normal, you'll notice, for women to get mad at men and boys, to lose their temper with their fathers and men or their mothers. Women get very hot. It's not natural to women to be hot-blooded, but they become that way. My sister telling my dad to fuck off by the time she was 16 years old. He's like, fuck this and fuck that. She's a teacher now. She still talks to him that way. Right? She's not a sexual predator, right? It's hard to predict. In fact, so-called professional teachers will tell you that it's hard to predict what girls are going to do because they've accepted now in science that it's going to get violent for no reason. They call it different things, but they know women, right? Women are meant to be more sexually aggressive. Women become violent. Women become crazy. They become weird. They have a lot to deal with, right? Remember, the system is getting them to produce a lot of pussy juice, a lot of chemicals, a lot of excitement. Look at the Beatles. Look at what the Beatles did to young girls. Young girls would go and see a Beatles concert and they would pass out. They would pass out. Do you understand? These are 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 25-year-old women who are passing out, who are getting such strong orgasms of the body that they were losing consciousness. Right? Where do you see that anywhere in your life? Would you ever go somewhere to have that done to your daughter? Right? The system is about mesmerizing women to turn them into sadistic and compulsive cannibals. Right? They lose their inhibitions. Right? They become excited. They have hormonal changes. Premenstrual, postmenstrual, endometriosis, because their body, right, is growing flesh in the wrong place. Right? They're more aggressive. They're overproducing flesh. It's becoming painful to them. Right? A lot of female sexual predators, especially thin ones, have a lot of menstrual cramps, a lot of pain, and they take their anger out on men. A lot of them have what's called urinary inflammation, urinary tract infections, and things like that. Right? Because their pee burns. Right? Their vaginas burn. They get cysts in their uterus. All this sublimated rage, right? Right? Because essentially bodies are dying. And the only way that they can live is to feed on human flesh. Right? And they don't eat your finger, right? They take your time and they take your money. The system has already converted men's flesh into their labor, into being responsive to the compulsive needs of women, and to be tortured by them, by the voice, just by the sacred word. So with her word, a woman can put parasites into a man's blood. In this way, she feeds on him. Right? They don't even know what they're doing, right? But you can watch it. Women feed on men all the time. They feed on their fathers, they feed on their grandfathers. I've been around 3 generations of women feeding on their grandfather in public. Men can get in on it too, right? I was sexually publicly fed on and cannibalized by a local male manager, supported by male ownership and female managerial colleagues and female staff and male staff. Right? They were all compatible with this public execution of their violent and Luciferian compulsions. Right? It was quite a display because I brought them, unknowingly or not, just by being me, to a peak of essentially sexual arousal. So many people there, especially girls, had come to such peaks of sexual arousal, serving me flaxseed and oatmeal and gazing into my eyes. And such a peak of cannibalistic compulsions as they, because I haven't been digested by the system, they were trying to eat me. So I was basically going to a food store and I was food. I was their health food. I was healthier than all the fucking food I had there, and they wanted to eat me. So vegans, for instance, they're trying to become healthy by using food control, not eating animals, things like that. It's all a farce. And they become cannibals. They become hungry for human flesh, right? And that's, so if like a vegan comes up to you and says, "Oh, you didn't eat cows," and blah blah blah, those are their beliefs, right? And they're digestive enzymes, and they'll take your time and they'll take your energy. The same thing with meat eaters. When again, I had meat eaters who would cannibalize me because they're addicted to eating meat. It doesn't matter whether you eat meat or not. You're still a food demon. You're still a foodie is a food demon, right? Why is food such a big deal for someone? Right? You eat, right? When you're hungry, you eat. Find the food that you want to eat that does it for you. You know, find the right protein profile and go on with your fucking life. You know what I mean? Get some nice fats, all that shit. You know, I got my thing, you got your thing, and then we go on with life. Isn't that nice? We're not fucking like going to a restaurant and just savoring every last little thing about the new fucking kumquat escargot shit-faced fucking pile of Eskimo cream pie. I hate eating at restaurants. They all suck around here. You know, I really admire the people who make and serve me food. I reward skill and attention to detail in presenting food in a palatable and nutritious way as possible. You know, I've seen, you know, almost anything can be made. Any fast food can be made something that's actually quite sacred to consume. But you have to put attention into it. You know, you have to have meticulous standards. And most people working in restaurants don't have that. They're just serving up slop, right? I mean, quite frankly, if I had to do that, I'd do the same thing. Because I don't give a fuck, right? It's just a paycheck, right? Just want to go home and play with myself. Come home after an 8-hour shift watching Tiffany at the drive-thru. You're like, Tiffany, close that window. You work so hard. Speaking of being hard, can I go over and penetrate your black nylon pants? Can I just put my hand over your name tag and then go all the way out to your beautiful nipples and start working them into a beautiful peak? Look at that, stiff peaks. Isn't that what Gordon Ramsay says? And then just consummate, you know, this lustful orgasm of all of your repressed compulsions. Mounting Tiffany. My God, Tiffany, you're even better with your clothes off than you are on. I just want to grab those beautiful tits and squeeze them into their tips. I want to massage the nectar. My God, it's like, I'm getting nectar, Lyndon, but it's not between my breasts. Isn't it just like arousing, right? Humans grabbing and fondling, skin and licking, consuming each other, eating the flesh, right? And having some one complete fucking totally powerful orgasmic release into her body, her mouth, her ass, crouched on top of him, riding his dick, being mounted by him, just completely consumed by desire, blood, and anticipation. just beautiful animal desires. Isn't that what we're supposed to enjoy? I don't know. I don't think so, really. I think it's something that's conditioned in us. Right? I'm getting a stiffy just talking. I try not to go down that road, but it's like, what is all that? Why do we want Tiffany's tits? Tiffany looks down at her tits and goes, yeah, boys like this. Okay, yay for me. It's like, I think of it like it's a part of your body. It's like balls. Imagine if guys walked around with balls on their chest and they're like, wow, I got huge balls. And they have little nipples that will feed your burn. Hey, I can feed you with this. And every child in the world sucks on them for dear life when they come out of their mother's womb, rarely finding everything they need because women's are demonic financial instruments. So they develop compulsions toward them. They're like, there's something there you want to eat. It's like you didn't finish your meal. The biggest meal of your life, your mother's tits. And so you look at women's tits sometimes and think, I'm hungry, right? And you develop compulsions to eat them, to eat their flesh. So I think men can get aroused from women's breasts because they are suffering from their own cannibalistic compulsions to eat her flesh because your mother's flesh, her rightful flesh, your milk, was denied you. Women, in turn, even as they get old and ugly, have surviving compulsions towards men because they feel, since they've seen men at their weakest, they know that men have these compulsions. They feel like men owe them something. They feel like just because of this, they have something men need. Right? Young girls, they see boys looking at their boobs. Right? Boys have all been denied their mother's milk, their first nutritious meal. Vegans, they'll become pizzaholics, they'll become alcoholics and smokers, all kinds of oral compulsions because they were denied the most important meal of their lives. Not their last meal, their first one. Right? And the mothers are all fucking distracted. Right? They're breastfeeding on a public bus. The most important meal in the world. Right? This is the most important meal in the world, ladies. Why would you feed your child in public? What a humiliating thing for them. Right? To involve the glances and energies and thoughts of strange people while he's doing something more important than all the sex he'll ever have in his life. Feeding on your breast milk. You should be at home. You should be in private. You should be in a quiet place where the sounds of his sucking are accompanied only by birds and the movement of wind through chimes and the leaves. These same women will probably play Mozart to their children when they're in the womb and think that they're avant-garde. But they'll fucking take their tits out anywhere and let their baby suck on them. The babies, they even still have an appetite. So they'll have to shake their tits around to get their attention. They'll have to bang it into their faces like a fucking porno. Bang, bang, bang. Remember, you like this? Right? Just to get their appetite up, to get their attention. Because already their brains are confused, looking around, right? The spirit knows exactly what it wants. The spirit is a genius, right? But all these natural functions have already been despoiled in the mother's womb. Doesn't matter whether you shave your legs or not. Doesn't matter if you're an environmentalist or feminist. Doesn't matter what your political views or sexual orientation or religion. Doesn't matter how big your ass is or how small your waist is. What matters is your connection to your fucking child, right? And you shouldn't be giving birth to children based on sexual compulsions because sexualization is socialization and it's a financial instrument. It's based on killing your children and shocking them to death at a primal level. demon talking to that thin man. She's fat. And she's talking. Talking about he said, she said. Women use a lot of hearsay, right? Female gossip. She said, he said. It's all hearsay, right? Women's hearsay, right, is believed more than men's hearsay. Women learn that their voices, like you want to talk about entitlement. Women don't realize how entitled they are. Their voices and their word, the venom, the force of their speech under the powers of the financial industry. In other words, violent demonic compulsions, women's anger, right? Women's lib, more like women's livid, right? Right? A livid woman is a dark woman, right? Nothing worse than a rage-filled female. Hell hath no fury like a woman's scorn, right? Right? Now, everything we're saying, right, doesn't mean women have to be that way. This is a sickness. Like any sickness, you can heal yourself. Right? The women who would need this advice are women that are not having any satisfaction from men, A, or B, unlike myself, you think that the opposite sex is supposed to satisfy you, right? You need to be satisfied with your spirit. You know, each day, I have to find a way to satisfy my spirit's natural occupations. And it ain't get my job, baby. By the way, I've been called baby and honey by so many women. Hey, honey. The nicest older woman I ever knew never called me dear or honey or kid. Like, right? Why do women call you honey? Because you're sweet. Why is that important? Because honey, they're like Winnie the Pooh, and you're the honey. You're dear. You're very precious meat. The things that are dear is meat. When you say dear someone, you're calling them meat. You're calling them food. Dear. You're food. Right? That last piece of cake in the fridge, it's dear to you, isn't it? It's of the earth. It's of the Jir, right? Jir. It's of the year, which is of the year. It's of the harvest. It's of the food of the earth. It is dear to you. It is meat. And you hear that when women call you dear. When a woman calls a man dear, he hears that. Stupid ones think it's good. Right? No woman who calls a man dear is ever a decent woman. It's my dear. Okay, my dear. My love, my dear, dear love. Yeah, my love, my dear love. Yeah, my love, my dear love. The deer taught me that. The earth gave me that song. My love, my dear love. Yeah, my love, my dear love. The deer has to do with confronting evil. Right? Be hind. Behind. The hind. They make it your hiney. Because the hind is of the sun. It is of that which defeats all evil. Get thee behind me, woman. Right? Get behind me. Put the hind behind you. Right? Make it of the ass. Make it of that which repulses you. We don't want anything to do with the hind. Right? You want to fuck people up the hind. Fuck them in the ass. Right? Right? Men who are ass fuckers have been pacified. Okay? They'll be some of the best men and women of the world in this society. It's a good thing, it's a bad thing, you know. Sexual. But the ass fucking thing is what men do become impotent. Right? Homosexual men are often impotent in the usual sense. Man, lots of demons leaving the park as I come in. They're probably flooding out in anticipation. I don't know. That's it. Take off, little parasites. It's a beautiful day. I'm feeling strong. We'll see how it goes. My mom isn't going to take the offer of the two fucking male and female demons in the building when trying to groom her to do a month's working for free. It's fucking amazing what these people try to get away with. Fucking, and you know, they're just sexual predators. Disgusting human beings. But I've accepted that the building I live in just has these people. My only real spirits in the building. We'll often walk around the building and there's no one else. They're all in their apartments or wherever the fuck they live. There's no living being in our building. Right? They're all fucking humans. My mom and I are the only living spirits there. You know, I've never been a big fan, but Jesus is what you got, these dead people living around you. Okay. Oh, my love. Yeah. You know, first time I see a woman sitting under a tree, I'm gonna be like, well, I'd probably ignore her and move on. But like, whoa, how you doing, baby? Hey, dear, my honey, my food. Have you got nice breasts? Because I'd like to suck on them. And the thing is that a lot of women want you to want their tits. Like, that's an exciting part of a lot of new relationships for women is when they, you know, advertise their breasts, right? The first date, which is a predatory process. Dating, right? Courtship, right, is about human sacrifice. The court is the stage. It's like where courtship is about pretending to be someone you're not, but that you're